Hey, Dee, I learned a new word last week and I decided it was a good description of this podcast.
I'm almost afraid to ask, what's the word?
Chinwag, which,
Okay.
according to the dictionary, is an informal conversation, usually about everyday matters. It's a chat, it's a little gossip.
And I said, so you're saying this is a garden chinwag is what you're saying, right?
Yes, we could have called this podcast the Garden Chinwag.
I'm really glad we didn't. Why don't you get this garden chinwag started for us?
And listeners not watching, she did the chinwag in air quotes.
I did.
Welcome to the Garden Angelus, where we chat about flowers, veggies, and all the best dirt. I'm Carol Michael from Indianapolis, Indiana, where I have a suburban garden measured in square feet. It's about a third of an acre, snow covered.
Snow covered. And I'm Dee Nash from Guthrie, Oklahoma, where I still have a large garden out in the country that has no snow today, but it is cold, so cold.
We are Garden Angelus because we love gardening. We want you to love it too.
Yes, we do. And we aren't afraid to spill all of our gardening secrets, the good, the bad, and even the ugly. Often the ugly. But let's move on to this week's episode.
Dee,
Okay.
my
Yes.
cold is colder than your cold.
How cold is it there, Carol?
It is. Oh, I looked it up. It's 9 degrees, feels like -5.
It was 15 here this morning, so we were close.
Yeah,
Woo!
it was -4 when I went to church.
Yeah, I wore this to church, which is a big, brown fluffy sweater with jeans and tall boots, and I have not changed out of it. It is cold out there today.
I did not wear a flannel shirt and this Christmas short sleeve t-shirt, which was a dumb thing to buy because it's short sleeve. I did not wear these to church. I had on a sweater. But anyway.
Because you went last night.
No, I went
right?
today.
Oh, you went this morning?
May I mention the snow?
Oh, that's right. It snowed last night, so you went today?
Well, it snowed all day yesterday. And it was one of those real fine mists, and it just keeps adding up and adding up and adding up. And it's like, there was no way.
It was slick.
It was going to be slick and nasty and no way. So I went this morning. But anyway, so yes, it is snow covered, which is nice because, did I mention low temperatures?
Yeah, mine's not. And it's low temperatures, which, that can be a problem. All right. So what else did you do this week?
Well, the whole week has just been we had snow. We talked about snow last weekend, and then it was nice. I went to garden club lunch for the holiday lunch. That was very nice. We had coffee afterwards at a garden member's house.
You don't drink coffee.
No, but I mean coffee in the generic sense of we ate at this restaurant, and then one of the members who lives like 10 minutes away said, "Hey, we won't really have a chance to have a nice proper chinwag. Y'all invited to my house afterwards." So we all ate, and then we trucked over to her house, and
How fun.
Yeah, could talk to people a little bit more calmly.
Yeah.
So
and you're more of an informal setting because when
Yes.
you're at a table, it's hard for everybody to talk.
Well, they had, I don't know, it's where we ate. We were supposed to have one section of the restaurant. We were in another, and we were just a little bit overcrowded. So me and another member, we sat at a little booth next to the big table, and we're at the little kids table because we're some of the younger ones in there. So this is the garden club member that, honest to Pete, you'll never believe
Honest to Pete?
She lived in the same dorm as I did when we were freshmen at Purdue.
Wow.
We have no recollection of one another, and it wasn't that big of a dorm.
Right. But dorms were weird.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people who lived, I wouldn't have known who they were. So what did you do in the garden besides go to garden?
In the garden, absolutely nothing. In the house, I did start some more microgreens. And I also checked out my pot of snowdrops and my pot of reticulated irises. Little buds starting to show up. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to put these in the garage with the pelargoniums. It'll be in the 50s most of the time, and it'll be under lights, and let's see what happens.
Cool.
And then I have a moth orchid. I mean, it's got a nice bloom stalk that keeps growing and growing and growing. So I'm thinking maybe it'll be blooming for Christmas. I don't know. But anyway, much ado about nothing. It was just a cold, wintry week. How about you, Dee?
Well, we had a couple of nice days, and I worked outside.
I saw on the Instagram.
And yes, and I did a couple of posts. I did another one this morning. We're recording this on Sunday. And I did one on, Wednesday. I'm trying to post 3 times a week. I have noticed on Instagram that the algorithm, you get better response if you do it 3 times a week. This is just something I have noticed. And here's the thing. I don't care about Instagram and their algorithm. That should be I do not care today.
Yes.
But I care about the people who come and look at the videos. So I try to be nice. Anyway, I planted some tulips, cleared out an area so I could plant the tulips. Michelle came over to help me that one day, and she cleaned out the pots on the deck. God bless her. That's her hard job. And so those are all ready to plant for spring.
Yay.
Yay. And Bill blew off the deck for me with the blower, and we got the bird feeders even better set up than we were, and so now we can see the birds. And let's see, what else did I do? Oh, I worked a little bit in the greenhouse, tidying up, cutting some things back that I didn't get to yet, but we had a big problem in the greenhouse with another leak. And so Luz came and fixed it because Bill can't do that stuff anymore. And then we're also having a few problems with the new gas heater in there, the propane heater. But I think Bill moved it back a little bit. The pilot light kept blowing out. I think it's because when the door opens. So we did that. And that's it. So do you want to play favorites? Let me think. Is there anything else? I went to lunch with a friend on Monday. We talked about gardening.
Yeah, that is really fun.
It is fun.
Yesterday I went out about 4:30, 5 o'clock, and I shoveled off most of the driveway.
Yep.
And then like at 9 o'clock, there was just like maybe a half inch. And it's because it's so cold, it doesn't really, and it just sort of lays there. I got out the leaf blower and I blew off the half inch off the driveway.
I can see that.
And it didn't take much effort.
Because that fine powdery snow, when it's really cold, it's just dry.
I just blew that off with the leaf.
Good for you.
Yeah. So anyway, my favorite this week is the fact that on this bitterly cold day, I have snow cover, which does help protect a lot of the garden, the perennials and things like that in the ground. The snow cover helps just a little bit, or at least we'd like to think it does.
Keeps them warm. It also adds a little bit of moisture, which are 2 things that you want, right? And freeze-thaw cycles without snow cover cause heaving.
Yes, they do.
To heave. And so I would be very pleased. I wish it were that way here, but it is what it is. For me, my favorite this week are the cardinals at the bird feeders.
Nice.
I enjoy seeing them again. And we also have some I'm looking outside. We have a little black-capped chickadee, and we have I think that's an American goldfinch and a titmouse. So it's a lot of birds here.
Yeah, there were a lot this morning when I opened the blinds. A lot of LBBs, little brown birds that Carol doesn't know.
Little brown birds. Yeah.
LBBs. And in fact, once we're done recording, I need to bundle back up and I need to go out there because they have completely eaten almost all the bird seed. So
they do that. They'll eat it in one day once they find the bird feeders. And Bill Brennan, our son, bought Bill 2 new bird feeders.
Nice.
Because the other ones broke and Bill kept fixing them because it's Bill. And finally, Brennan was like, no, these need to go. So they did. All right. You have an insect of the week for us that
first we have the question of the week.
Oh, I'm sorry. There's a question of the week. Yes. I'm sorry. I missed it.
So we're not going to go into details because we do not want to embarrass anybody, but people have fallen to the scam of those dark blue hostas thinking that, wow.
You can just say it. It was Bill.
Well, I know somebody. I'm not going to out anybody.
I'm going to out Bill. Bill sent me 3 Instagrams of these stupid fake plants. And he kept saying, you need these for your garden. And I was like, those aren't real.
They're not real. They are not real. Here's how to spot them. First of all, they look fake.
They're AI.
Hostas do not come in bright pink, bright blue, bright orange, bright red. They just don't.
They're green.
And if you've never heard of the company that they're sending the stuff out, fake. And I hate to say this. I'm going to issue a blanket statement. Don't bother ordering any plants off the Amazon website. That is
or Instagram.
Or Instagram.
Yeah, the only time I ever order anything off of Amazon is if I know where it's coming from and I know the company. I have done it then, but you've got to be really careful when you do that.
So anyway,
you'd be better off to do Home Depot or something.
Exactly. So anyways, just if it looks pretty and you've never seen it before, it's probably fake. Don't fall for it.
No, we had this really bad with daylilies for a while because there was one guy in particular that would alter his photos. This is way before AI. He'd alter his photos and he would say he had blue daylilies. Well,
Nope.
daylilies come in every color but blue. So.
Same with roses. Roses do not come in blue.
No, they don't have the pigment. Okay. Even though they keep trying to create it, and they have created an almost blue-eyed daylily, but it's taken years. All right. Now we can do the insect of the week.
I came up with one, Dee.
You did it all by yourself.
Snow fleas.
I've never even heard of these.
So I have heard of them and I thought, are those for real? And it's like, they are real. They're a type of springtail. And so they're not actually fleas. They're not actually insects, but they look like it. They're very small, wingless creatures. They're often referred to as springtails. Their scientific name is Hypogastrua harvii or Hypogastrua nivicola. Anyway.
Yeah.
They're hexapods, which are a subtype of arthropods. They have 6 legs, but they're more closely related to crustaceans. And we'll link to the University of Minnesota to talk about the snow fleas. And what is remarkable about them is that they do survive in very cold temperatures. And so you can have them in Minnesota and you can also have them in Indiana. I found another site, a news site that talked about, yes, they are real. And yes, you can find them, but you're probably not going to see them because they're very, very tiny.
And they're not interested in you.
So lest we thought that all the insects had gone into diapause, like our mosquito friends, they have probably, but the snow fleas, this is their weather.
Awesome. Do you want to do the quote?
Duty makes us do things well, but love makes us do them beautifully. And that is Phillips Brooks.
So our flowers, we decided to do a recap episode. We should explain why.
We're going to do a recap episode because this is it for us for 2025. This is our last episode. We're taking off for the holidays. So we thought, let's go down memory lane and talk about some of the flowers that we talked about obsessively all through the year.
And you came up with 5, but I have another one. So number 1 on our list is zinnias or zinnias. And we talked about these a great deal.
We did. Now, for our listeners, I'm going to claim that Dee talked about these more than I did.
Pretty true.
She planted multiple crops of these in her cut flower garden. She bought all kinds of specialty ones. Carol just got the old packets from, Menards and places and just planted them and enjoyed them. And I did enjoy the ones that you sent me seeds from. I can't remember which ones they were, but they were very lovely.
I'm sending my husband a text real quick.
Well, it just says, honey,
gardening.
I'm recording the podcast. Please.
No, it says squirrel. There's a squirrel in his bird feeder. It freaks him out. All right. So yes, zinnias are, I should take a picture of this squirrel, shouldn't I? So maybe we can put it in the deal.
Yeah, you need to take a picture of the squirrel because now it's like, but that's the classic. See, are you ADHD? Because we're talking about zinnias and the next thing I know, squirrel.
I am a little. I think I am. My daughter says I am, and I probably am. Okay, zinnias. I'm almost over my zinnia fascination. It lasted for about 3 years. I mean, I still love them, but I'm almost over being obsessed with them. So
very nice.
That's good. All right, next one is pansies. Are you almost over your infatuation with those?
I will always begin and end the season with pansies. So I don't know what to say about them. I just think that they're the prettiest flower out there other than violas, but we'll get to those in a minute. But I just like pansies. You got to put yourself out there and be known for something, Dee, right? Like Dee, zinnias. Well, Dee roses, Dee daylilies. Carol pansies, Carol violas. I don't know what else to say about them except, they're the last thing blooming in the fall and they'll be the first thing I'll get in the spring.
I mean, mine are still flowering, believe it or not. So that's pretty
Mine
amazing.
Are probably done. I think
yours are done. I think so.
They're done.
They're underneath that snow, so it's hard to tell. But we're going to take a guess that they're probably done.
Probably done.
Okay, Lisianthus. I love Lisianthus. Didn't know a thing about them 2 years ago.
I was going to say this one, if you'd asked me in January, which flowers would make the top list. Lisianthus was nowhere on my radar. It was all over your radar.
Yeah. Well, because I got to be friends with flower farmer. And when you're friends with a flower farmer, you know about Lisianthus. And apparently our friend Teresa Byington knows about them too. And she starts seeds about now. So I need to start seeds for those about now. And then number 4 is Signet Marigolds, which would be you, because I like the big, giant African marigolds.
I like the little Signet. And actually, we have a listener who has asked me to send her some seeds, and I haven't done it yet, and I haven't forgotten. But I thought now is not the time to send those in the mail. I will send those in like February timeframe. I've made myself a note. So I like
Sounds
them. I
good.
collect the seeds, the little gem series. And I like them. They bloom later and they kind of form a nice mound of color. And so if you have to have a favorite flower in the marigolds, I'm going to go with Signet.
Okay. And go ahead. Say it. The next one.
Violas, the ultimate favorite.
So you like violas better than pansies?
Oh yeah. Violas are my baby. I will buy 10 flats violas in the spring, and Courtney up at the greenhouse, she will text me and she will tell me when they are ready. And usually we target into February, beginning of March. She was getting them ready a little bit early, and we decided that was a little bit early because other people weren't got geared up to go buy them. So she tries to get them ready about the time that she's ready to open. So, and I will.
Which variety do you like the best of the violas?
I like all the violas. The whole, gosh, I can't think of the name. There's a whole series of them. Pardon, the sorbet series.
I like the sorbet series. Yeah, I like Tiger Eye. The
Tiger Eyes is
with
amazing.
the cute little face. It's cute, and it looks great with purple.
She sells the sorbet series almost exclusively. She did have some frizzle sizzle in the violas, but she tends to just get frizzle sizzle now in the pansies because, some of it is she loves them too. But if she only has one obsessed customer who's coming in and asking for something, she will not just grow it for me, apparently.
Can imagine. Okay, so, and then I have to add on roses.
Of course you do. In fact, I had roses on the list and I took them off and put Signet Marigolds on.
The squirrel just got knocked off the bird feeder. He read my message.
By an angry man?
By a very angry man.
You need to get the baffle thing on the pole like I do.
Have the baffle thing on the pole, and it still can get up there.
Yeah. They say they can jump 10 feet.
Yeah, ours are athletes. We have athletic squirrels.
So what about the roses?
Just they're great.
Okay. I can agree that roses are pretty.
They're pretty. They smell good. They remind people of beautiful things. And I learned something new about them this year, that the rose oil is almost all from Bulgaria because it's a particular type of rose. I learn something new every year. Isn't that a nice thing? Aren't we grateful that gardening teaches us something new every year?
Almost every day sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. At least once a week. All right. Worst plant in 2025. I almost said a bad word. Those blasted AI-generated images of those stupid hostas that aren't real. All right, moving on. I'll do the next quote.
You do.
I'm going to slow down. Are you ready? Nature has been for me, for as long as I remember, a source of solace, inspiration, adventure, and delight, a home, a teacher, a companion. Lorraine Anderson.
That is lovely.
It is very lovely. Vegetables. Now we're going to recap our favorite vegetable topics, which you found. How did you find this? Did you find it by looking at our best episodes?
No, I just made them up, Dee.
You just made them up? Oh, thank God.
I didn't.
I really was worried that you went into a lot of trouble.
No.
And I was like, that's not fair.
No, I did not go to a lot of trouble. Sorry, listeners. I just made these up. Go ahead, Dee.
Number 1, cole crops. How we talked people out of them.
We have never had success.
Trash on them, don't we?
The European cabbage, butterfly, moth, whatever it is, gets on those things, lays those eggs, eats the thing up. And neither one of us want to do a bunch of covering of stuff in the garden. So we are both like, we do not grow broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower.
I grow a little kale. I grow some kale.
Yeah,
and I grow some...
a little bit of kale because you can get that early, and you sow that early. And then before those butterflies show up, you can get some decent harvest out of those. But once they show up,
It's over.
It's over.
And sometimes I grow, what's the other one that people grow in the
Swiss chard.
summertime in the South? I hate Swiss chard. I try to like it, but I really hate it. But it is more resistant to the cabbage butterfly, so there's that. I was trying to think of the other word. It starts with a C, but I'll think of it in a little bit. The thing that people grow in the South.
Collards.
Collards, thank you. I grew collards this year and they did okay. But you know what? I'm not in love with any of those. So, except I really do like kale.
Now, I did grow a little cabbage that Burpee sent me, and it did all right. And it wasn't really...
Wasn't that the miniature one? Didn't you grow a small
it's a smaller size
variety?
Cabbage, and it did all right. And I don't know if the kale over there was more attractive, but it didn't seem to be as attractive. And I just had the one cabbage plant. It's not like I had a whole bunch that were like zeroed in and said, like, here's paradise. Look at all this stuff this lady has planted for us.
All right, number 2, why I don't grow squash. Yeah, it's the squash bug. In some states, the squash vine borer is a bigger problem. But in my state, the squash bug is a huge problem. And I just don't want to put down pesticides. People do. And that's how they get squash. And now somebody's going to write in and say, but you could try this and you could try that and you could try. Yeah, I could. I've done it all. I mean, let's just go down the list of the things I've tried over the years.
Let's not.
I've covered them.
Yeah.
They always get in because you have to uncover them to get them pollinated.
But
forget to hit the cover again.
But D, one of the squashes that Burpee is promoting for 2026, and I don't have the name, and I meant to get the name. They have a self-pollinating squash that doesn't require the female and male flower, the bees to get in there.
Okay, well, you could cover those probably.
And I sent you a thing and said you could grow those, you could cover them. And
I said probably not. Okay, number 3.
I grow microgreens.
I have grown microgreens, but I can get them at the store.
But they're so much fresher when you grow them yourself, Dee. Here's the thing about growing microgreens. You have to set up a little indoor microgreen farm with your little containers. Yeah. You have to have a system. Yeah. When I finish with one, I dump it out. I put in a little bit of fresh soil. I sow the crop again. I have a whole system for it now. So it makes it a lot easier.
And you'll be so healthy.
I'm just eating microgreens like a fool over here. Radishes and broccoli and spicy salad mix and basic salad mix. And
I do love them on top of eggs, like poached eggs or scrambled eggs. I love them on my sandwich. And I like them on top of salads. So there you go. If I just wanted to do it, but I just don't.
And here I am. I got a whole farm going. I'll take a picture of my farm.
I want a picture of your farm. That's what I want.
Okay.
All right. And then you said start as early as you can in the spring. Oh, things we start really early. And for you, it's peas.
Yes.
For me, it's just all kinds of greens like lettuce, spinach, things like that, especially spinach.
I start those things early, but the peas, people are surprised how early you can sow them. And the people that say, I never get a good pea crop, it's like you didn't sow them soon enough.
Yeah, and when do you sow yours?
Usually around St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
And the soil has to be above 40 degrees Fahrenheit.
Which she has a soil monitor. That's why.
Soil thermometer, yes. But as the French used to say.
What did I say? Monitor?
You said monitor.
Thermometer. Yeah.
The French gardeners, they said if they could sit bare bottom on the soil without being too cold, that's when they knew it was warm enough to plant peas.
Okay. That's a weird thing.
It is weird.
All right.
I don't do that.
And radishes.
I have a thermometer.
You can start radishes really. Okay. Radishes are another thing you can start super early. As beets, you can start those early. Lots of things, actually. And I always start all my stuff at the end of February. So like the last 2 weeks of February is when I would sow all this stuff.
Yes.
And I do. And then we have some, because there's always a couple of warm days. I do that. And then it's really cold for a few days. They love that stuff. Then 5, you have listed green beans, and I don't know why.
Well, for us, green beans has always been that crop through the years. We either had a good green bean year or a bad green bean year.
Or a bad one.
And so we don't know really why one year was good, one year wasn't very good. But we almost judge our entire garden by whether or not we had a good green bean year. Almost, but no.
Or tomato.
Tomato. And I didn't put tomato on the list, but I could have.
I think people love strawberries, tomatoes, and green beans. I think those three things are really big. And maybe spring onions. That would be one too. And yeah, those are important. I will say that the one year we had a really lousy green bean year was because we tried all different varieties from our tried and true. And you and I were both like, okay, that was a bust.
Yeah.
So now we always grow our tried and true. And for you, it's Provider.
Yes.
And for me, it's Blue Lake. And if we grow those two, and I grow Provider too, Provider's really good also. If I definitely grow Blue Lake, it's going to be a good green bean year.
And if I grow Provider, I'm going to have a good green bean year. And the one thing I always try to do, and sometimes I do it better years than other, and that's to do succession planting. So like every 2 to 3 weeks, plant another row of green beans so that you kind of have them. But let's admit that as the summer wanes on, you sort of get tired of fresh green beans.
Yeah, and tomatoes. I know that's hard to believe, but after a while, you're like, I have too many. So I was also going to say that we are talking about bush beans.
Correct.
We should mention that.
Yes.
Not pole
Pole
beans,
beans.
although we have grown pole beans, but the ones you want to grow in succession are bush beans.
That's correct.
See, I'm with it today, Carol.
You are very
I'm
with it. We are on top of our game, Dee.
We are. We're just giving good advice right and left. All right. Shall we move on, or did you want to talk about anything else in the vegetable?
Oh, I did want to say that I'm communicating via text with another landscaper. The first landscaper I contacted, he's just sort of ghosted me, but I've gotten in touch with the second one. And he's very interested in my little project to straighten out my beds and put down better fabric and some good mulch and everything. Yeah. And so, but he has asked if he could, when we first started texting, there was like a little window you could maybe have gotten in and done something, but now forget about it till January, February. And so he texted me the other day. He says, well, my wife's having a baby in a few weeks. Christmas is coming. Do you mind if we get together after the first of the year? And I says, I don't mind at all.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in the next 2 weeks, which is why we are taking off. Okay, so you do the quote.
Some books are so familiar that reading them is like being home again. Louisa May Alcott.
And we love her.
Yes, and Little Women, by the way, remember, it's a classic Christmas book to read.
It is, because but that's probably my favorite part of the whole book. When they're gathering together to decorate the tree,
I need to
get little gifts for each other. You need to read that again. It's really good. Have you read the book at all?
Years ago.
Yeah, I read it.
But it's one of those
Christmas
things.
Story many times.
My mom had a copy from when she was a little girl, and we had that at on the bookshelf somewhere. I don't know what has happened to that book. I suspect my little sister has it, which is fine. I mean, it's not like it's of great value, but I'm not sure that I could say that I've read through the entire book, but I've, of course, watched the movie, one of the movie adaptations. So it would be worth my while to read it again. Maybe I will pick that up this week because I'm kind of sputtering around trying to figure out what to read next on my Kindle.
It's a really good book. It makes me happy. Okay, on our bookshelf this week, you decided we were going to do recaps of our favorite books from 2025. And of course, you chose.
Well, our listeners, just behave yourselves. I chose Pansies by Brenna Estrada. And when
that book is one of the best books.
When this book was getting ready to come out, I was so excited. And it's just exquisitely photographed. She's got history in here.
Yes.
She tells you things about pansies and violas a little bit that you didn't really know, like how long the stems can be for cut flowers of all things.
Yeah, who would have thought?
Who would have thought? And she has traveled since the book came out. I know she was posting on Instagram about going to Japan to pansy.
Because, Japan is big in pansies, as you know.
Yes.
They do a lot of the really interesting hybridization.
Yes. And then she was in Italy and they were doing a lot of interesting things. So anyway, I decided for 2025 that it was the book that I was most excited to get. And I got a review copy, and it's the one that I love it to death. And as somebody who has purchased every single book written about pansies and violas and violets that she can find, it's been decades since a book like this came out. So it was high time. And this is a beautiful, beautiful book. So anyway, I love Pansies by Brenna Estrada. We don't even know her, but Just, anyway,
Well, it's a beautiful, I mean, that book is
it is.
beautiful. And it would be a great gift book for anybody who loves gardening.
Exactly.
If they like flowers of any kind, and most people grow pansies. So I can't imagine that not being a good gift.
Oh, it's
Okay,
so
so you and your
beautiful.
mind?
It would sit so nice on, it's not too big to sit and read. I mean, it's a bigger book. It'd also be very lovely on
Yeah.
your coffee table.
I use it on my coffee table. Not right now because it's kind of Christmas decorated.
Spring, Easter, put it out.
Yeah, perfect. It would be beautiful.
How about you, Dee?
I chose this one.
The New Romantic
Which is
Garden.
By Jo Thompson, and we don't know her either. This book is beautifully photographed. It has
she's
wonderful information. It's very British, which you know I love British gardening, so I'm in anyway. But a lot of the things that are in this can be applied to the United States.
Oh, yeah.
And it would just make the most beautiful gift book. This was one that was suggested to me by Teresa Byington. And I went out and immediately bought it because this is the style of gardening I love. I love a good romantic garden.
This beautiful picture you're showing us.
And all of its messiness, all of its rosy gorgeousness, all of everything. And so this is the one I chose this time. I almost chose vintage roses, but I love this one more. And I don't just grow roses. I grow many different things.
And we should add, Jo Thompson is very big with Substack. She has very, very active Substack. Some of it is behind a paywall, and I haven't paid to go behind the paywall, but she talks a lot about design and how to design the garden. Just a lot of good stuff out there from Jo. So she's worth following on Substack. And maybe I need to ask for Santa Claus to bring me that book. Although, you know,
it's a beautiful book and it's well written.
I don't know if I've been good enough, but I'll have to see. Anyway,
you have to see. Is it my quote again?
It is.
I thought I just did. Oh, it is. Winter is the time for reflection, for dreaming and planning the garden of your dreams. And that's unknown. And so for dirt, oh, this is funny. So for dirt, we usually do the Pantone color of the year, but this year's Pantone color of the year, everyone thought was blah because it was something called Cloud Dancer, which was basically a soft white.
Exactly.
It's not really even a color.
Exactly.
It's just, and so people were like, are you kidding me? And so there were lots of different, really funny on Instagram.
Oh, there were some funny ones.
Some great posts that you sent me that I laughed and showed Bill. And then you found this from the Spruce.
Yes. And actually this particular article was updated way back in October, but they said it was the 2026 color of the year, all the people who had named them so far. And so there's one called Midnight Garden, which is a beautiful green by Dunn Edwards.
Green.
Gorgeous green.
Yeah. Gorgeous green.
Hazelnut Crunch, which is a sort of, I would call it a maroon with a little bit of an orange mixed in. Really pretty.
It's the color of my fingernails right now.
From Clark and Kensington.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And then Divine Damson, which is a real dark red from Graham and Brown. Mm-hmm. Sherwin-Williams, they went with Universal Khaki, which
it's a little bit like Cloud White.
Yeah, and then Matte Coffee Bean by Krylon, also a little bit off-white. There's a pretty gold one from something called C2 Paints called Ebony.
I love that. Yeah.
Warm Mahogany.
That would be great. That would be really great with Midnight Garden.
Yes, it would. Warm Mahogany from Glidden, which is a reddish brown, very earth-toned.
Yeah, beautiful. Everything's very natural, isn't it?
And Minwax, which is not necessarily paint, but stain. They have special walnut.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
The next one, Hidden Gem by Bear. Oh my gosh, that is a beautiful color.
Blue-green.
Yes.
Yeah, gorgeous. People need to come and see our notes or our Substack and get to look at these. We'll have a link to this.
Yes, we'll definitely link to this. Warm Eucalyptus by Valspar, also a pretty green. Dutch Boy Paints had an ivory, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, so
gorgeous.
These colors of the year, I mean, it's just a marketing, advertising gimmick, but
who cares? It's still fun.
It is. And maybe Pantone wanted to have people talk. So they said, let's, because these are the people that came up with that. What was that brown color last year that everybody said?
The poop color?
Yeah.
It was like warm chocolate or something. And we all went,
no, I don't think so.
It's a dark color like this, but
No,
It looks good. It's good in a sweater, but maybe not in everything you own.
exactly.
Okay,
Oh my gosh.
well, there
Now,
you
here's
go.
one thing I saw that was just hilarious. It was a person who did like embroidery and needlework, and she had a Substack, and you need not to have water, or she had a Instagram post. You need to swallow what you just drank, Dee. She said
I saw it. You showed it to me.
she
So I
had
already
come up
know.
with a pattern that incorporated Cloud Dancer, and she worked it and everything, and then she turned it around so you could see it. Two little black dots, and it was called like polar bear in a snowstorm, and just showed these two little black dots. I thought it was very good.
It was hilarious.
I might
So
do
you're gonna
that
have
one.
to find that. You're gonna have to find that one and put it in the newsletter.
I can find it because I sent it to you, so I should be able to find
I
it.
know. Should be able to find
All
it.
right.
Okay, well, that's enough about our dirt. How about you do the quote?
Winter is the time for comfort, for good food and warmth, for the touch of a friendly hand, and for a talk beside the fire. It is the time for home. Edith Sitwell.
And so this brings us to our rabbit holes, and I have one today.
I see that, Dee. Tell us about this
and it
rabbit
has
hole.
nothing to do with my video game. Aren't you proud of me?
Super proud, Dee. Super, super, super proud of you.
Okay, so my rabbit hole is, I don't know why, but I've been really listening to songs of the 60s and 70s, and I have no idea why. I've just been into them lately. And yes, that's a little before my time because I was a very little child in the 60s, but whatever. So there's this guy on Instagram, but he tells the stories of the background of the songs, and his name of his group, his channel is Song Lever, Lever, and we'll link to him. He's fabulous. Like, he tells you every cool detail like you ever wanted to know. And all of his videos are kind of the same. He's just sitting there and he just tells this really warm story, and then the song plays in the
I'd
background.
like to hear that.
It's nice.
Because, the 70s, that was my decade. And I listened to a lot of songs on the 70s because I have Sirius radio in my car. And
yeah, me too.
70s on 7.
I like to listen to the blend, which is also the 70s. And so same idea.
So when my sister and we drive down to Southern Indiana in the summer for the family reunion, we always have to listen to 70s on 7.
Yeah. It's fun, right? And Bill and I have also been listening to a bunch of them at night, not watching TV, just listening to songs. And it's really nice.
Yeah. Very relaxing.
Very. All right. What was your rabbit hole?
So I did a Lost Lady of Garden Writing last week, and I thought I need somebody easy because, it is a busy time. Thalassa Crusoe, who had the TV show on PBS in the 60s called Making Things Grow. And that was her famous book on houseplants, Making Things Grow. Dee, if you saw the picture of her, you would immediately know who she was. She was born in England.
I got to look her up.
She had an anthropology degree, and she used to work for, I think it was the British Museum, and she was a curator of costumes. But she went out to a dig in Ireland, and she met an American professor from Harvard, and they ended up getting married. She came to the United States.
As one does.
Huh?
As one does.
She came to the United States.
From Harvard.
And she told her, I have another book she called For Everything There Is a Season, which is a reflection, like my favorite January through December books, based on columns she wrote for the Boston Globe and I think McCall's Magazine.
Cool.
And so anyway, she talked about how during World War II, when she was over here and she had 3 young daughters, she could not go to England to see her parents. And so her mother would make these tissue paper roses. And she said they would, get over here through the torpedo infested seas. And it was always very special for her daughters to hang the tissue paper roses on the Christmas tree. They were from their English grandparents that they had never met yet.
I love that story.
It is a good story. And then she's on YouTube.
And Christmassy too, Carol.
Very Christmassy.
You managed to come up with we've had 2 big Christmassy things in here.
Very Christmassy.
We're going to have
but people can read my Lost Ladies if they haven't. Please subscribe to it. I do it every 2 weeks. So it's not going to blast your email with a whole bunch of stuff. No. She had a PBS show called Making Things Grow. And I was listening to one of the episodes on YouTube, and honest to God, I almost fell out of my chair because she said, you can learn horticulture without tears.
Isn't that funny?
Yes.
I didn't know people cried a lot about horticulture, but I did send you that really funny Instagram of people that are brand new gardeners whose plant dies versus experienced
Yes,
gardeners.
yes.
So I guess there are tiers. I don't know.
Well, and then she used to be on
guess.
the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, and there was an episode, and she kept her own.
Isn't it really funny? Isn't it a really funny one?
Oh, well, she holds her own with Johnny. She trades quips and barbs with him, and the one I linked to in the thing was about turning a pelargonium or geranium into a topiary. It was funny.
I bet it was funny.
Yeah, because
Johnny Carson was funny.
Yeah, and he said that she'd been coming on his show for 20 years. And then she's like quipping like, and in 20 years, I've never gotten a Christmas card. Anyway,
that's funny.
That was my rabbit hole. It was very fun, and I enjoyed dipping into her books. I have 2 of them on my shelf. So anyway, Thalassa Crusoe, Making Things Grow, the houseplant queen of the 70s, 60s.
Nice. Which houseplants were super big back then.
Oh, they were. Yes, they were.
And now they're back.
Yes, they
Just
are.
like, remember for a while, it was like everything was really spare in people's houses recently. And now all of the millennials are starting to collect china and and I'm like, oh, people are so funny. It goes in a circle.
That's
all
right.
the time. All right. Garden commissions. Okay. You're going to laugh.
I'm not going to laugh, Dee. Listeners, let us pause while Carol says, I told you so. Dee, how is it going with your amaryllis bulbs?
They're still sitting in the box.
Dee, they need to be
I need
planted.
to plant them.
Do you remember going to Lowe's and saying there were some of them that were blooming in the box because they got too warm and people hadn't planted them? And so what is happening to yours, Dee?
They're just sitting there because the box is open and it's not very warm in that part of the house. So they're okay. They just won't bloom at Christmas, and that's okay too, because I'm going to have them in January. They're white anyway. They'll go with my decor. I know. You really think I'm bad, don't you?
No, I just think it's hilarious.
All right. So I did find what you're going to find. I already did that. And I sent you a picture while you were talking about Thalassa Crusoe, so we can put it in the newsletter.
I will put it
Go
in the
ahead.
newsletter.
Tell us what you're trying to find, because you were looking for this last week too.
I'm trying to find a nice poinsettia. But I need it to buy when it's warm outside. So I have a good excuse for not finding one yet. There have been tons of them. I will find one, and I will buy it this week because it's going to be up into the 40s. I'm going to tend my houseplants, my microgreens, my garage pelargoniums, all the above.
Yeah, I'm going to keep everything watered. I watered all my houseplants and got everybody ready. And I'm watching my waxed amaryllis start to grow, which is awesome.
Mine are growing. They look good.
They look good. And water out in the greenhouse. That's the other thing I'm going to do. My water was turned off, so it's time to water. And then, I'm going to plant those amaryllis. In fact, you know what I'm going to do, Carol? As soon as I get off this deal, as soon as we're finished, I'm going to go plant them right now.
And so for our listeners, Dee, not to say that something won't distract you from your mission, I do need a picture of them potted in the pots.
Don't promise I'll do it. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Now, before we get to We Do Not Care,
yes,
we do want to have a special announcement that this is our last episode of this year. This is episode 52 of season 7. So we're coming back on January the 7th, 2026 with season 8, episode 1.
Right, which we've always, since about season 4 or 5, we take 1 week off for Christmas. But this year, we decided we were tired, and so we wanted to take off 2. So we're taking off 2.
Well, because we feel like an episode that hits on Christmas Eve and then another episode that hits on New Year's Eve, if you're waiting for these for your holiday entertainment, you need to refocus. Really, you need to refocus.
You really do.
But you'll be so excited on January the 7th when that next one comes out. So anyway, we want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year.
Mm-hmm. All the happies.
All the happies.
Yeah. So We Do Not Care. It's your turn.
Well, you had an earlier one, and I can't even remember it. It was so long ago. What, 40 minutes ago?
40 minutes. I don't know either.
We do not care that we haven't ordered seeds for next year yet. There is still plenty of time.
Yeah. Plenty.
All right. That's it.
Let's wrap this baby up.
Thank you for listening to The Garden Angelist. We publish every week on Wednesdays, except the next 2 weeks at 12 a.m. Eastern Time. Be sure and follow us on Apple Podcasts. That helps us get noticed by others.
And if you subscribe to our Substack newsletter, you get a link to listen to this podcast a whole day early and links to the products we discuss. Plus, go over to YouTube and see us in person. Full episodes show up on Tuesdays. So now, if you can't wait until Wednesday, you get 2 ways to get episodes on Tuesdays.
And go ahead and do a like and a subscribe when you're over there on YouTube. If you want to help support us in other ways, we have affiliate links. If you buy something after clicking through on them, we're in a small commission and it costs you nothing.
Or you can set up a monthly subscription through Buzzsprout or make a one-time donation through PayPal. You also have the option of pledging your support on Substack.
Thank you to everyone who has done so. It does help us pay for podcast hosting.
It was lovely to chat with all of you over the Garden Gate. Bye until January.
Bye, everybody.